Give me the tea. What's the drama?
I got some tea. Excuse how I look. I am traumatized, okay? So basically, a few months ago, I met this guy. He approached me. We started seeing each other, and not just like casually. It was not casually. It was, I'm gonna marry you. I'm gonna have children with you. I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. He met my family. Like, went the full thing. Was obsessed with me. It was like movie love. Like, this man was head over heels. I was head over heels. There was no games, there was no like lies, it wasn't drama, it was just like a great relationship. But Mr. Man was busy a lot, and it became a problem because he didn't have time for me. Didn't have time for a relationship, right? But continued on talking about how he was gonna marry. So last week, I'm like, you know what? This is not gonna work out. Right person, wrong time. You need to get your life together. Let me know when you're ready. And it was so sweet, and it was like, oh my god, like, I'm so sorry, I wish things could have been different, like, I'm gonna make time for you in the future, blah blah blah. So it's over. Done. 2 days ago, he posts on Instagram. I go to the comments. Tell me why someone commented husband. So I'm like, that's weird, because we've been together for months and we only broke up like 2 days ago. I go to her page. They've been together for 3 years. 3 years. A whole girlfriend. So I do my FBI shit. I realized that he would be with her like the night while I was with him the day. I realized like the things he said he was doing, he was actually with her. And I put like all these clues together, right? And then I am deeply in her mom's Facebook. I realize his best friend, who was around when I was around, is the girl's brother. And I'm like, so your brother knew that your man was with another girl, because he knew. And I'm like, these trips he went on with these friends, they knew about me, and she was on the trip. So I'm like, what the heck? Obviously, I've been blowing up his phone. Nothing. So I'm like, I gotta tell this poor girl. Like, I feel terrible, right? Like, she's a victim. I'm trying to reach her. I'm doing everything I can to contact her. She's not answering. Finally, this man answers me, right? They're in an open relationship. She knew about me the entire time. All of his friends, everyone knew the entire time. And they all kept it a secret from me. I was getting played not only by a man, but by his girlfriend and all of their friends. I was the joke. And yesterday, he wouldn't give me my shit back. So you know who he had do it? His girlfriend. So yeah, that's my tea. Pretty intense. I am in recovery.
Give me the tea. What's the drama?
I'm like 90% sure I dated a serial killer. So I was listening to a true crime podcast, and then they were talking about this serial killer, obviously. And they said, oh, he was from this state. And I was like, okay, that's where my ex is from. And then they said, oh, and then he moved at this time. And I was like, oh, that's when he moved to Ohio. And then they were like, and he's 6'6". I was like, my ex is 6'6". And then they started describing his appearance. And I literally exactly how my ex looks. And I was like, oh, okay, getting a little weird. And then they said his first name. And wouldn't you know it, that's my ex's name. And I was just like, that's, it's a coincidence. It's probably a coincidence, And I started thinking about it. My ex is the one that got me into true crime. Because he was so fascinated with the mind of serial killers. Take with that what you...
Give me the tea. What's the drama? What's happening in your life? I want to know.
That a large majority of the influencers holding those self-tanning bottles, acting like they self-tan themselves, they didn't. They went and got a professional spray tan. And their contract states they can't talk about any tanning before or after. And I've spray tanned most of those people. And also, there's an influencer, pretty large influencer, that has her own self-tanning brand. And I've not only sprayed her, but her models for the photo shoots. And no, I didn't know I was doing it. I saw it after when it was posted.
Give me the tea. What's the drama? What's happening in your life?
My husband won't divorce me because he doesn't want to marry his fiance. That's the short and sweet version. The long version is we've been separated for years. We have both moved on with our lives. We both have even had other children. He took me to court for custody of our daughter, but he doesn't see her. He ignores all of her phone calls and text messages. I spent hundreds of dollars on a mediator. He won't agree with anything in court. I've eventually given up because I don't have the money to pay for a lawyer or anything. I'm a single mom and he's thousands of dollars behind in child support. If I reach out and say anything to him, like just divorce me, like just finalize everything, I get called obsessed or a stalker. I just want a divorce. How this relates back to the fiance. Apparently she hates me despite the fact that I never met her. To the point that after our last court date, they got in an argument because I guess he brought my name up and she broke his car door handles off and she broke his mirror. At our court date, he said that she forces him to wear a wedding band even though he doesn't want to because they're not married. He just likes to make it seem that he's forced into this relationship with her as if she forced him to have children, as if she forced him to propose. He complains to everyone in his life about her, including to me at our court date when we were there for our divorce. Again, there's no actual reason that we shouldn't be divorced right now, except for the fact that if we get divorced, then he would have to marry the person that he accuses of abusing him and accuses of just being a terrible person to him. Of course he wouldn't have to, but as you can see, his running theme in life is that things happen to him. He doesn't have any choice. And what better way can you stall an engagement except for being married to somebody else?
Give me the tea. What's the drama? What's happening in your life? I want to know.
So 3 years ago, I had this mom reach out to me here on TikTok, and understandably, she was just devastated. She had a son who was almost 2 years old that had passed away just months prior. He had a seizure and he aspirated. He didn't make it. Of course, she was heartbroken. And to add to that pain, she just didn't have any support. The dad was out of the picture. The family wasn't really supportive. And the thought of someone having to go through child loss all alone really pulled at my heartstrings. I've been very open about when Claire died. I had a lot of support, and the thought of someone having to go through that all on their own without that support just broke my heart even more. So I spent the next 3 years supporting her. And when I say supporting her, I mean countless hours, sometimes at the expense of my own grief. But I thought, hey, I've got this big support system. She doesn't. So show up and be there for her. She would send me screenshots of text messages that her family sent her that were really just dismissive of her loss, and some that were really nasty and mean. And I know that that's not unheard of. Not everyone has a big support system, but these were really gross. And so I wanted to make sure that she was physically safe, that she was emotionally safe, that she had someone to navigate grief with. And then this week I found out she's a liar. She is a huge, huge liar. And she never lost a child. She didn't have a child. Even though she sent me pictures of her and her son from when he was alive, those pictures were actually of her still very much alive nephew that she was sending out to someone on the internet and saying that it was her dead child for 3 years. So that's how my week is going. But how about you guys?